What is Islam? Part 2. Belief in Allah's names and attributes. To truly be devoted to Allah and to love Allah above all else imaginable, one needs to have knowledge about Allah that goes beyond the basic aspects of Him being the sole creator and sustainer. Through His revelation and by His grace and mercy, Allah has revealed a great deal of information about Himself, such that any truth seeker can know and worship his Lord based on accurate knowledge. Muslims are blessed to find Allah's names and attributes mentioned throughout the Quran. For example, Allah says, "He is Allah other than whom there is none who has the right to be worshipped, the King, the Holy, the One free from all defects, the Giver of security, the Watcher over His creatures, the Almighty, the Compeller, the Supreme. Glory be to Allah. High is He, above all that they associate as partners with Him. He is Allah, the Creator, the Inventor of all things, the Bestower of forms. To Him belong the best names. All that is in the heavens and the earth glorify Him. And He is the Almighty, the All-Wise." 59:23-24. From the Quran and statements of the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, one can learn the following about Allah. Allah is the most compassionate, ever merciful before beginning virtually any act, a Muslim states. In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the ever merciful, ever forgiving, ever accepting of repentance, ever patient, pardoning and loving. He is the generous, the magnanimous, the bestower and the clement. He responds to those who call upon Him, and He is the rescuer. He is the glorious, the great, the deserver of all praise, Lord of all creation, Master of the Day of Judgment and the Judge of the final reckoning. He is the all-hearing, the all-seeing, the all-knowing and the all-wise. He is the ever-strong, ever-capable, almighty. He is the self-sufficient, free of any need and provider of all sustenance. He is the exalted and the Most High. He is the watcher over all affairs and the protector. He is administering the affairs of His creation, commanding, forbidding, being pleased, being angered, rewarding, punishing, giving, withholding, honoring, debasing. He does whatever He wills. He is attributed with every attribute of perfection and free of even the tiniest amount of imperfection or shortcoming. Greatly exalted and perfect is He above all that they associate with Him. Not even an atom moves save by His will and permission. This wonderful information about Allah Himself is a great blessing for humankind. God Himself has revealed sufficient information about Himself that humankind need not stray or be confused. On this point, though, there is something very clear in the Quran. There is absolutely no hint of any trace of anthropomorphism. Muslims remain constantly aware of Allah and of two of His names in particular. In the Islamic beliefs about God. This is a point concerning which many earlier peoples have strayed. The Creator and the created are separate and distinct. The attributes of Allah are perfect attributes that are becoming of His holiness and greatness. Even when there is some common concept between an attribute of Allah and an attribute of humans, there is actually no similarity in the quality of the two. Thus, Allah Himself says in the Quran, "There is nothing like unto Him, and He is the all-hearer, the all-seeing." 42:11. Here, there is a complete denial of anthropomorphism while at the same time affirming that Allah hears and sees. Muslims always realize Allah's perfection while never belittling Him by describing Him in unbecoming manners. God does not have human-like attributes, nor do humans have divine attributes. Any violation of His latter principle is clear disbelief and associating of partners with Allah. From the history of humankind, it can be argued that it is natural for humans to worship. They want to have a God that they can worship and adore. They know that there must be something special and great about that thing which they humble themselves to. However, so many of them put their hopes, trust, dreams and aspirations in things that are simply not deserving of such respect or worship, whether it be forces of nature, inanimate objects, other humans, materialism, nations, race, whatever. They force themselves to believe that these false objects of worship can bring about what they hope for and what they are dreaming of. In other words, they begin to give their false objects of worship the attributes of God. Instead of turning to God and knowing God by His attributes and then realizing that He is the one they are truly looking for, they turn to other objects of worship, love and adoration. Due to this, they stray very far from the straight path and from their true God. In numerous places, Allah speaks about such gross errors. The source of these errors is an incorrect belief about the attributes of those that they turn to while ignoring the attributes that reside with Allah. For example, Allah says, "Say, O Muhammad, to mankind, how do you worship besides Allah something which has no power either to harm or to benefit you? But it is Allah who is the All-Hearer, All-Knower." 576. Allah also says, "And who is more astray than one who calls, invokes, besides Allah, such as will not answer him till the day of resurrection, and who are, even, unaware of their calls, invocations, to them. And when mankind are gathered on the day of resurrection, they, false deities, will become enemies for them and will deny their worshipping. 46 to 5-6. In sum, if one truly knows the names and attributes of Allah, one would never turn to worship anyone or anything but Him. None of those false objects of worship are deserving of worship. By worshipping them and seeking them, humans are doing nothing but debasing themselves. Worst of all, they are ignoring Allah, equating partners with Him, earning His wrath and preparing for themselves an evil end. Summary: the proper belief in Allah is the essence and cornerstone of the Islamic faith. It is the key to blessed life, the key to proper living, the key to understanding reality, the key to happiness and peace. When the person truly knows Allah, he will recognize that it does not make any sense to worship anything other than Him. He will realize that this is what his soul has been created for and this is what it has been seeking. Once he realizes the beauty of worshipping Allah alone, he will never desire or wish to worship anyone other than Him. His soul will be at rest and his heart will be tranquil. The universe and humans. The creation of the universe and how it points to Allah's existence. The universe is made up of various parts. There are the galaxies and solar systems that are above Earth. On Earth, there are inanimate objects, such as the mountains, oceans and land. There is also the animal kingdom with all its great varieties. There are aspects of creation that humans are still discovering and coming across today. All of these are actually part of the creative work of God. In the Quran, it is clear that it was Allah who created the heavens and the earth. In numerous verses of the Quran, Allah points to different aspects of the creation and describes them as signs for those people who reflect. For example, Allah says, "Verily, in the creation of the heavens and the earth, and in the alternation of night and day, and the ships which sail through the sea with that which is of use to mankind, and the water, rain, which Allah sends down from the sky and makes the earth alive therewith after its death, and the moving, living creatures of all kinds that He has scattered therein. And in the veering of winds and clouds which are held between the sky and the earth, are indeed signs for people of understanding." 2-164. In the hustle and bustle of today's world, many find little time to reflect upon this creation, their presence in this creation and any purpose behind it all. However, it is important that people take the time to reflect and think. When they do so, they will find signs and lessons that will bring them straight back to God, a most important step in their lives. The signs are actually all around them, if they would only reflect upon them. Thus, God says, "We will show them our signs in the universe, and in their own selves, until it becomes manifest to them that this is the truth." 41:53. Reflecting upon the intricacy and order of this creation makes one realize that not only must there be a wise creator but also that there must be some purpose behind this creation. It is unimaginable that any being would make something with such precision and perfection and yet there would be no rhyme or reason to the whole creation. This is a point that Allah makes in numerous places in the Quran. For example, Allah says, "We created not the heavens and the earth and all that is between them for a mere play." 21:16. The Quranic argument is that it is not logically possible to come to any other conclusion. Indeed, if a person believes in God as the Creator, by definition it is unbecoming of such a noble and great being to create all of this order and beauty and yet have no purpose behind the creation. A person who believes in a Creator yet believes that this Creator had no purpose or thought behind his creation is describing a Creator that is childlike and unintelligent. It is hard to believe that a Creator like that could possibly come up with a creation like the one that everyone witnesses today. No, indeed, the creation points to certain attributes of the Creator and it points to there being an important and great purpose behind this entire creation. The whole nature of the existence points to the Creator being one of very special character who would not create anything of this nature for fun or without reason. A second very important conclusion that one can derive by simply pondering over this creation is that the one who created this from nothing can easily recreate it. If he has the ability to recreate things even after their demise, this also means that he has the ability to resurrect them and bring them all in front of him. This thought, obviously, has very ominous repercussions for humans and their behavior in this world. Thus, Allah points out this fact and reminds humans of its meaning throughout the Quran. For example, Allah says, "And he, the human, puts forth for us a parable, and forgets his own creation. He says, Who will give life to these bones when they have rotted away and became dust? Say, to them, O Muhammad, He will give life to them who created them for the first time. And He is the all-knower of every creation. He, who produces for you fire out of the green tree, when behold, you kindle therewith. Is not he, who created the heavens and the earth, able to create the like of him? Yes, indeed, he is the all-knowing supreme creator. 36:78-83. Thus, this creation is a clear sign when added to the fact that there must be a purpose behind this creation of the resurrection. The concept of the resurrection is not something that violates nature, but it is completely consistent with nature. In reality, the one who negates the resurrection is expecting that Allah will treat the wrongdoers like the pious people. This is an unbecoming expectation of Allah. Allah makes it clear that such will never be the case, highlighting that such thoughts can only come from those who disbelieve in God. Allah says, "And we created not the heaven and the earth and all that is between them without purpose." That is the consideration of those who disbelieve. Then woe to those who disbelieve from the fire. Shall we treat those who believe and do righteous good deeds like the evildoers on earth? Or shall we treat the pious like the wicked? 38:27-28. After so many signs in the creation and so many reminders and lessons in the revelation, one must ask, what will be the human's excuse if he does not respond in the proper manner to the evidence all around him? Humans and the creation. There is something distinct and special about this creation known as humans. However, the original, physical creation of the first human was not greatly different from the creation of the other creatures of this world. According to the Quran, the physical makeup of the first human, Adam, was from clay and water, two of the already created substances of this cosmos. It is in the next stage of the creation of the first human, Adam, in which the real distinction occurred. At this point, humans are made a very separate and unique creature, combining a physical aspect and a special spiritual aspect that God bestowed on them. In fact, this is what makes them very different from the other living creatures on this same planet. Among the most prominent distinguishing features of human beings are the following. 1. A sound, natural disposition that is ready and capable to be directed to the belief in Allah alone as the object of worship. 2. An ability to comprehend and understand matters via the intelligence and mind that Allah has bestowed on humans. 3. A free will to decide between the path of goodness or the path of evil, as well as a limited free will to enact that choice that he has made. 4. A responsibility for the choices he has made, which is a necessary result of being given free will and ability. 5. These are all in addition to the fact mentioned in the Quran that all of the resources of the creation have been subjugated to his use. Given all of these special characteristics, the human should realize that he has a special and noble purpose and goal in this life. The creation of humans and the special characteristics that humans possess should make each human realize that the Creator is too wise and lofty to create him simply for sport. Did you think that we had created you in play, without any purpose, and that you would not be brought back to us? 23:115. Indeed, even more than that, the great Creator who created all the creatures and the humans would not leave humans without guidance and without showing them what to do and what not to do. He has even guided animals to the means of their survival. Thus, rhetorically, Allah says, "Does man think that he will be left neglected without being commanded and also punished or rewarded for the obligatory duties enjoined by his Lord, Allah, on him?" 75:36. Hence, the human should realize that his actions in this life have a real ramification to them. In this sense, nothing that he does is meaningless or without consequences. His life has purpose here, and the Creator is ever aware of every action, thought, intention and movement that he makes. It is extremely important for the human to realize this point, that he has a purpose in this life. Indeed, this realization may be the first step along a change of life in which one turns to his great and wonderful Creator, to submit to him willfully. Without realizing this fact, there may be no need, meaning or purpose to behaving in a specific manner. If nothing truly matters and if nothing is morally wrong or right, since there is no God or real purpose to existence, it is expected that people will behave in any fashion they wish. There should be a great and profound effect when a person's eyes are open to the reality of this creation, his purpose and role in it. This author has had personal experience working in prisons in the United States. Upon asking numerous inmates why they committed their crimes, the response was invariably, "Why not?" The only question to them was whether they could get away with an act and not get caught. There was no question of any responsibility towards the Creator or any sense of purpose in this life. Indeed, one cannot argue much against their way of thinking if one is foolish enough to believe that this existence is purposeless and by mere chance. As opposed to the Islamic beliefs, some people today believe that humans are simply descended from animals in some evolutionary sense. In this way of thinking, humans are doubly a process of mere materialist elements as well as being directly descended from animals, apes being the closest relative. Ignoring the fact that there are many missing links and scientific doubts raised against the theory of evolution, could this possibly be what this great and grandeur cosmos is all about? Could humans, who have been given so many capabilities above and beyond the animals, be nothing more than animals without any noble purpose or creator to answer to? In reality, it can be concluded that this view seems to be completely illogical and potentially very harmful. Some people also believe that the human soul is inherently evil. On the contrary, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, himself said, "Every child is born on the fitra, the natural way, the religion of Islam. It is his parents who then make him into a Jew, Christian or Magian." Recorded by al-Bukhari and Muslim. That is, far from the child being born inherently evil, every child is born upon the true religion. It is only afterwards, via the influence of family, society and environment, that an individual becomes influenced to follow paths that are not pure. Many Christians believe in the concept of the original sin. This is the belief that the sin that Adam, the first man, committed is passed on through all of his progeny. Hence, it is on the neck of every individual, even the newborn baby. The only way it could be removed, they claim, is by God sending his son as a sacrifice to remove this sin. This belief, especially the last part of it, is obviously completely inconsistent with Islamic monotheism. God does not have a son. He has no equals or anyone who is in any fashion similar to or related to him. The Islamic belief is that Adam and Eve together did commit a sin, by allowing themselves to be deceived by Satan. However, they both repented to God and God accepted their repentance. That was the end of their sin. There was no means for that sin to be passed on to others. Furthermore, it would be the height of injustice on the part of Allah to hold innocent individuals responsible for the sins of others. Thus, Allah says, "No person earns any sin, except against himself only, and no bearer of burden shall bear the burden of another." 6-164. Therefore, from an Islamic perspective, the concept of the original sin seems clearly false and is also potentially harmful. It gives a very wrong impression about God and his justice. It also taints the human with the belief that his soul is inherently evil. The Islamic concept of the soul is free from the errors of previous thinkers and incorrect religious beliefs. It places the human in its proper role and is completely consistent with one's nature, logic and remainder of creation. The nobility of humans. Humans are a creation of God. Humans are not divine in any way whatsoever. They do not share any divine qualities with God. This is true for humankind as a whole as well as for each individual human. No human is a literal son or daughter of God. In fact, humans should realize that they are not the greatest or most magnificent of what Allah has created. Allah says, "The creation of the heavens and the earth is indeed greater than the creation of mankind, yet most of mankind know not." 40:57. It should be humbling for a human to reflect upon what a small speck in the mass of God's creation he truly is. At the same time, though, as previously mentioned, Allah has blessed mankind in many ways and given them virtues above and beyond much of Allah's creation. In reality, every human has two very different possible potentials awaiting him. This has been the case since the creation of the first human. When Adam was created, the angels were ordered to bow down to him. These angels are spiritual forces that are always ready to be at the side of humans when they wish to do good deeds. At the same time, there was Satan. Satan, according to Islamic beliefs, was not a fallen angel. Angels would never fall or become anything like Satan. Such goes against the very nature of the angels. Satan is from another class of creatures known as the jinn, who vowed to be humankind's enemy and to mislead as many humans as possible. Thus, the two potentials were established. Humans are free to ascend to the highest of heights or to descend to the lowest of lows. Indeed, the goal of life is to worship and please Allah, thus, to receive his pleasure in return. To be a true servant of God is the ultimate goal for humankind. There can be no greater goal. In fact, this is the only goal that can bring true solace to the soul of humans because this is the goal that is recognized deep within the person's soul. Furthermore, the most exalted, noble, and honored a human can be is by worshipping Allah. There is nothing greater or nobler than that. That is the maximum potential. This is something that should be clear to every human. The more he moves to that goal, the happier he should become and the more honor he should feel by submitting himself to the only true God and Lord. When he realizes this fact, his efforts should be exerted to maximize this potential. Actually, when a person realizes that he has only one clear goal, the effects upon his soul are profound. He need not chase after an endless array of goals, never being able to satisfy or achieve any of them completely. Indeed, many times people's goals are contradictory and they can never achieve all of them. Note that although this is the ultimate purpose for humankind, Allah is actually not in need of human worship. If so, who then actually benefits from the worship of Allah? It is actually the human who chooses to worship who benefits from the act of worship. He has benefited by purifying his soul, bringing tranquility to his heart and, most importantly, by having the correct relationship with God. Allah reminds humankind of this point in numerous places in the Quran. For example, Allah says, "Who receives guidance, receives it for his own benefit, who goes astray does so to his own loss." 17:15.